Patchy blowing dust with sunshine, highs in the upper 50s. Daytime hours in the IE, sunshine, highs mid 60s. Afternoon, Coachella Valley, sunshine dominates, highs near 70. I'm forecaster Jimmy O'Neill for Smart Talk 1490 KMET.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News Radio KMET 1490 AM. We got a lot of things going on. We got Jess over there. Jess, there's a lot of things going on in the world. What's going on in? Is Tom in the news for something?
Oh my lord. I think so. He had a an interview with I can't remember what late night star. I think it was Stephen Colbert
Okay.
for the show. So someone sent me a clip on Tom Hanks showing how to make cocaine. I was like, "Wait, what?" And then I guess they spelled it wrong on purpose cuz I was just like, why is this like that?" So I started watching it. And yes, he shows how to make a cocaine. Yeah, there's a little pause there. So apparently, it's a cocktail with Coke and champagne. Which
Got it.
the
I
name
was
is
like,
very
I was like, oh no! Like he's now teaching like kids all everywhere are gonna be like, I know how to make cocaine, ma, and I guarantee it's gonna take off, right? There are gonna be like people all over going, all right, watch this, ma. I'm gonna make cocaine, and she's like, what? We have to have a talk. No, no, ma, no, no. You know, there's gonna be a bunch of videos on that. Well, that's good. So just for those listening, again, we're not promoting drugs right now. What is it that he did, Jess?
so yeah, it's a cocktail of Coke and champagne, which is a weird combination. I'm wondering how that tastes, but I'm
Yeah, Coca
assuming
Cola, people. Coca
yeah,
Cola.
Coca-Cola or Diet Coca-Cola.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's I was just like, okay, that's an interesting name for it. I can tell you it's gonna end badly, but yeah,
yeah, yeah,
totally they should have should have chose a different name, but it's funny.
yeah. Well, you know what? And I can see certain people that have like, you can always tell when you have someone who's addicted or has had Coke. When you say it a certain way, they go, "Excuse me," and you're like if you say, I got some Coke. You want some?" And they're like, "Excuse me." Like they get that I, and you're like, Coca Cola. Like, what did you think I was talking about? I've done that several times. I've gotten different results, and I'm like, oh, you are a person that's had cocaine. Like, what's going on there? Because I don't think that when like, you know what I mean. I just don't think that. So yeah, but anyway, so there you go. Tom Hanks is doing champagne and Coca Cola together. It's not a problem. So yeah, all right, we all got that. Good job. All right. So in other stuff. Oh, by the way, Jess, I do not want to be like, I'll be honest. Like, there's certain areas I want to stay away from here in LA, right? Everyone knows, I got attacked at McDonald's over nothing in the morning. It was during breakfast, it wasn't even at night. Some say, well, what did you expect over in that area? And I said, yeah, but I mean, you wouldn't know. The point is now you usually have a measure of like, okay, everything's good, everything's great, everything's wonderful when you call the police. But as of late, there's some information coming out about the latest situation with Tyre. And it's not like exactly, I don't even know how to explain it. Here's how they're saying it: a discrepancy between police accounts, evidence in Tyre Nichols' case revealed. And then this, which really kind of like, I was like, yikes. And I get it why they call them to the carpet. It says here Tyre Nichols waited 16 minutes for the EMT to help after the police beating. That's according to analysis. I'm a little. You saw the foot. I have not seen the footage because I don't want to get like, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to get upset. I don't want to get mad. I don't want to get angry. I just want to like go, okay, we got to do something again. And I think this is, if anything, is a learning thing because people have said a long time, and I think in a way got skewed because they're like, well, if the roles were reversed and it were a white person, would this happen? And I say, just you and I talk about it and we see it. It's dealt with differently usually whenever it's somebody of a certain color. But this is not really a color, thing. This is, officers that happen to be, technically brothers hurting another brother, right? And they're all ganging up on him. Now, I saw something, I don't know what it is, but they said, some have been disciplined before. So it's not like a first-time offense. They have gotten this bad. I wonder if there are others that would come out or might come out that said, yeah, I didn't die, but this is what they did. You know what I mean? Because sometimes they take advantage of people. And I wonder if, like, any of them are wife beaters or any of them are, like, that guy that just, like, uses his own authority to kind of, like, you know what I mean? I wonder.
So I'm looking for an article. I read it yesterday. I'm looking for it. I should have saved it, but I think one of the officers knew Tyree Nichols.
Oh, really?
Yes, I'm looking for the article, which there are so many, so it's kind of hard to narrow it down. But
That would be information I'd want to see because I'd be like, you ever see the show? And I know it's completely in left field, but it's a great show, by the way, with Denzel Washington called Training Day. Do you remember that?
oh yes, yes, we all remember that movie. Well,
Well,
I do anyway.
yeah, great Ethan Hawke, great job. By the way, if you haven't seen Moon Knight, go watch it. I literally binge watched the whole season. He did a great job in that, by the way. But Ethan Hawke, plays, the guy. He's new at the job. If you haven't seen Training Day, go watch it. But he finds out very quick on the job, going kind of like narcotics and kind of like, in that way that there's a lot of dirty cop. And he just happens to stumble on the day with Denzel Washington where Denzel's on the take in a way and trying to cover his butt, right? And he plays like, hey, and he does that big scene, just pretty big. Anyway, the point is this. In the world of cops, there are good cops and there are bad cops. That's a perfect example of a good cop getting trained by a bad cop, but at some point was a good cop. How do you go from good cop to bad cop? Multitude of things. But in that way, they like took down another guy. Remember, that was like in the middle or the beginning middle, whatever. And he was like one of them, but he's like, oh, you're going to do me in. Cops do each other in, but they're like, keep quiet, keep quiet, keep quiet. But they take like, okay, when they have a drug bust, do they take some of that and put it away? Do they make money on it? The answer usually yes, right? So there's a lot of that happening. Okay, people are being desperate. People are like, look, I only make so much money as a cop. So at some point, a cop, if he gets in link with other cops, will do the wrong thing. So my question is this. If one of the officers knew Tyre, what was like, did they strong arm him as a bunch? Did they want to know something more? Did they think it wasn't going to get out of control? I think the answer yes. I don't think they thought he was going to die, right? Because that would be dumb. But of course he did. And so I wonder what was beyond just them being like, I don't think it was just a thing of them being, I haven't seen the footage. What is the footage kind of in your way when you go, oh, wait, one of them knew him? Was it like a jealous thing? Was it a, hey, we're going to show you? Was it like kind of like the mentality of certain comps that are like, get out of town because they're on the take with, someone? What's the deal?
I think people are just trying to find a reason to justify, not even justify, just to put this in just simple things and be like, because it's either a random person that they wanted to beat up or it was someone that they did not like and targeted him specifically.
Yeah.
I would rather go with that one because just them messing them around with a random person is just kind of horrible.
Yeah.
But when you hear him cry out for his mom for help, yeah, you kind of get hit in the heart right there.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that.
So yeah. Unless you feel like tearing up, it's pretty graphic. They're like pepper spraying them and just beating them. So it's a long video. Be
And
prepared.
okay, so the pepper spray thing, I get that. Now, from what I understand here, he had reckless driving, so I get that. I get some cops can be a little upset about that, and sometimes I almost think like, like when you watch something, you're like, man, they hit somebody else, and some, but they go next level, and they really got to keep it kind of together. Um, and then again, this was in the Memphis area, right? So Memphis officers. Um, all right. It says Rodney Wells, Nichols' stepfather, said in an interview with ABC News, I just want them to see why they charge these police officers with murder for an individual to weigh 150 pounds and be brutalized. He was 150 pounds, Jess?
Ooh, Tyree. Yeah, he was just a skinny dude.
Oh,
He
he a little
wasn't
guy.
like super.
He,
Yeah, he wasn't like super big or bulky. Like I could probably take more hits than him because I got a little fluff between me. But
right. Right.
yeah, no, he 5 people just wailed on him.
Yeah, you have to wait
It's no.
that long for EMTs to come to the scene. It kind of like, at what point did they finally call the, like, because they have to report at some point, right? And I wonder, like, with all that footage, how would they not know it would go bad eventually, right? So, because when they take down, that's one thing. They take down, they're supposed to cuff them, and that's it, right? Like, that's it. Um, yeah, this is a sad situation. Anyway, my point is this. A, don't drive reckless. And B, don't get stopped by a police officer. And C, I almost say this, have a recording device on you. You know what I mean? Because it's almost like your thing against their thing. And it's just if these, I can tell you this, and I know there was a lot of debate when cameras came out about having them on the officer. And a lot of officers figure out a way to look away, but these guys were not thinking that. But I wonder about ones that do, and they skew it. You know what I mean? I know some are always monitored, some they figure out later. But if they're like, oh, there was a malfunction, yeah, right. I would say, if anything, internal affairs really needs to get their act together, and they need to figure out how many others are doing this all the time. I think, if anything, internal affairs can remove a lot of officers. They're hiring a bunch over here in San Bernardino. By the way, I follow them pretty regularly, and you could tell pretty much they're like good guys. But again, any cop can go bad. The question is, what makes them bad? And I think that's the question of the day with some of these cops. I think some of these cops are on the take. There's a couple that I look at and go, yeah, you're that guy. And I think they're on the take for, like, maybe like a favor, or maybe like, because a lot of these sometimes work another job. And sometimes they have a double life in a way, but they have like a security job, right? I've met officers that have a security job. I was talking to one, he's like, oh, I could hook you up with, like, this and that. I go, okay, that's interesting. But he was doing a security job for a person at their home for a event, right? And I was like, okay, he's a big guy, man. I was like, dude, like, that guy's big. I want him. Like, you don't want to go against him. You don't want him to be mad. But yeah, so you just got to be careful. That's all I'm going to say about that. Just, be careful. And if anything, just, know your rights. But this guy didn't have any rights after being beaten to a pulp. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I keep watching a small clip of just the officers passing him around and each one taking a hit and just like laying into him and stuff. But what I did notice one was, what kind of shoes do officers are supposed to wear, like boots or like dark shoes, right? I've never seen one wear sneakers before.
That's if he has to run.
So
if he has to run.
True, but even then, I've never seen an officer.
No, you're right.
Like, their gear, tennis shoes.
You're right. They're usually like the big black ones. But if you wear those, that means you're ready to run. Which is actually, you do not want to be against that cop. That cop will get you. The other officers, like, they have all the gear on. All the, like, the vest and everything, and it weighs people. Even a gun is pretty heavy to hold. So you got to be built and you got to work out. But those shoes could be pretty heavy when you try to run. So I think one of them probably, yeah. Which one was wearing that?
I have no idea. All I see in this video is just them, like I said, passing him around and each one taking a hit, like winding back and then laying forward.
Yeah,
So,
see, that's a bad mentality. And if anything, that brings a problem for the community, but it brings a problem for the force, because I guarantee whoever trained, probably the lead guy, whoever's the lead guy that takes part in that, made it all right for these guys to do that in a way like, hey, let's take this guy out. But I think there was something underneath. If one of them knew him, he probably like, oh, shoot. And then like, oh, no. And then there was probably something that either A, he knew, or B, I just think there was the fact that they know each other, if that's a fact. I don't know if that's one of those rumor things. If it's a rumor, then, it is what it is.
right now, it's just a rumor.
Oh, then
'cause,
never mind.
they
I don't
haven't-
want to spread that. When you say things like that, I go, dude, we're on the news. People take us for sure. It's a rumor,
Yeah, no,
people. We
it's
don't
just-
know for a fact.
not a fact. I'm just trying to figure. It's just I'm trying to just narrow things down to make it easier, because it's just like I've never seen people do this to another person. So
It's odd. It's odd.
it really is just for reckless driving. If that is the case, no.
Yeah, it's
So
odd.
this
It's odd. I would say this
he
though, in a community like that, it sometimes is a thing. Like, is this his first arrest? Is this one of many arrests that has happened? Ronnie King had a everybody, and I know somebody liking this to Ronnie King, though it's not the same. That was a bunch of like guys taking out a guy and then beating him to a pulp, and thank God he didn't die at the time. But he got in trouble with a lot again, and he kept getting in the news. But he was famous for saying, "Can we all get along?" And the reality is, that is one of those, like, I don't know how to explain it, but we haven't come very far from that, but now you have officers that are, so I say this, I think there's something either that should be investigated. And if that is a rumor, I would investigate the relationship between those guys and the one that they beat up, because it doesn't make sense. It makes sense if he went at them and like tried to hurt them and they were angry, but that's a mob mentality thing that if it happens again, it creates a problem for others. So I say this, don't let it happen. Talk to people that know internal affairs and have they put a button on it. They're the ones that can put a button on it. But the public can only do so much. So there you go. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right, we got other things coming up around the corner. We got some interesting things, some interesting announcements, and we'll be back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
Tried shipping a package lately? It's amazing how difficult and time-consuming it can be. Packing, envelopes, boxes, second-day ground, next-day air, it's all enough to give you a headache. Next time, do yourself a favor, go with the pros at the UPS store in Beaumont. They'll pack it right and let you know all your shipping options. You can also take care of everyday tasks like copies, faxing, notary services, and live scan fingerprinting. And while you're there, pay your Edison, gas company, and Verizon bills. Open extended hours Monday through Saturday. The UPS store in Beaumont, located in the Oak Valley Plaza at 1440 Beaumont Avenue. Call 951-769-5956. That's 951-769-5956. Online at the upsstorelocal.com/5027 or Google 5027.
Don't let insurance companies make decisions for you. Go to Pass Auto Center in Banning, your one-stop repair facility with full collision repair, auto maintenance, service, and an authorized smog center. You'll also find a full-service used car lot to fit every budget with the right vehicle for you. Trade-ins are accepted and they pay cash for your car. Pass Auto Center at 2609 West Ramsey in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway between Sunset and 22nd. Call 951-849-7878.
Jitters Coffee, a coffee shop that gives a double shot of quality. We offer top shelf coffee at a great price. Brewed hot or cold, you won't find a better cup of joe. Not a coffee connoisseur? Then try our Red Bull infusions to energize your day. We also have delicious pastries and sweets, baked in-house or flown in from the best bakeries in the country. Jitters Coffee. Come on in and enjoy your jitters.
Check out our newest location located in downtown Banning at the corner of Ramsey and San Gregorio.
KMED AM 1490 presents Cal State San Bernardino basketball. This Thursday night, February 2nd at 7:30, the Yotes meet Cal State Dominguez Hills in a CCAA conference game. Live from the Den in San Bernardino. I'm Mitch McClellan. Join me as the Coyotes meet the Toros. Cal State San Bernardino basketball broadcasts are brought to you by Dignity Health, Hatfield Buick GMC, Raising Cane's, Kenny Law, and the Hyatt Place Hotel, Ontario Mill. That's Cal State San Bernardino basketball action live from San Bernardino this Thursday night at 7:30 on your exclusive radio home for Yotes basketball, KMED AM 1490.
That's right. It's the morning show here on ABC News KMET 1490 AM. We appreciate each and every one of you. We got a lot of things going on. I will say this. I'm looking at some things. I'm like, wait, what? Space is in the news a lot. I did see an article finally, and I was like, okay, this makes sense. And they had a very smart physicist. He's the one with long hair, and he always talks very smart. And he's like, just so you know, this is how it happens, you know. And it was pretty good. But it was about the inside of the Earth and how they actually are able to see beyond the Earth's crust. So they do kind of like what they did in Jurassic Park. Do you remember the part where the raptors, like, he's like, look at these, look, you know, and he sends like a vibrating machine, and then it sends back certain images. Do you remember that, Jess?
Oh, yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, in essence, they have that for the Earth. So they're able to see all the way down to the core, right? And if you haven't seen the movie Core, go watch it, because it's basically that. That's why they said in certain stories, said it's like a Hollywood film, but it's not. So in this, what they're saying is the core has basically stopped spinning. Now, the core is not the magma. The core is what they always consider as iron, but it's made of a lot of minerals, right? We really don't know what it's made up of, but it's very thick, right? You cannot see through it. So I could see through liquid, you seeing a core, but somehow they're able to determine, and I don't know how long they've had this device to be able to see beyond the Earth's surface, which I think should be interesting, because I would be like, can you point that at certain like places in the sea and you can find certain treasure? Like, wouldn't that make sense? Anyway, but they're able to do that. And so this whole like thing in the community is kind of like, okay, what does that mean for the Earth? Now they're saying that some theories, but again, this machine has not been around that long. So I go, how would you know? But some theories have said, oh, it does that every now and then. So they kind of like minimize it. But I say, no, I don't believe that's right. I think the answer is actually it's kind of like the movie Core, and there's science of that. Like, what happens to the outside of the Earth if the core stops spinning? Now, I theorize it actually was starting to stop, which there's been a lot of theories for years. I'd say 8 to 12 years on the North Pole shift, meaning that the poles shift, and they said sometimes that shifts, but they don't know why. But I think it's due to technically the core and a bunch of other things, okay? The core, by spinning, creates, how do I put it? Okay, perfect example. You know, like a generator, when something rotates a lot, it creates a certain, like, electricity?
Yes. Know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you think of, like, okay, people don't understand what iron does and why you want it for conductivity, but iron is a good way of, like, generate a lot of electricity no matter what. You just got to have it spinning. So when that stops, what happens to technically the little thing that's outside of the Earth that protects the Earth from certain rays from the sun? If the sun were to have a burst and this stops, you have a problem with basically the surface and other things that are very electromagnetic sensitive. Animals are very electromagnetic sensitive. If you see animals going kind of like weird, it may be the electro part of their brain, if that makes sense. You know, whales are very electric, you know, when you think of like how they are able to send out like little things, and then, you know, they could basically be blind and they could see, like bats. Bats have sonar, right? We don't know how it completely works, but they have the ability to squeak and then hear with their ears where the sound is bouncing off from and then coming back to them. That's like a version of sonar, right? But the point is this: the Earth having the core stop, they're saying it may go in the opposite direction. Now, if that happens, does the Earth ever like what happens to the Earth? So some say, well, this is a thing, and others say we don't even know what it is. I would say you need to, yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. But that was the story. I'm like, okay, so there's some other news stories on space, by the way, including this. I don't even know what this is. Sierra Space successfully finished its third module test for the Blue Origin-led Orbital Reef private space complex for NASA on the long road to replace the International Space Station. I'm not going to lie, Jess. I didn't know the International Space Station was that big. Does that make sense?
No, I've never actually seen a picture of it, so I don't really know how big it is.
It's
huge. Okay.
It's huge. I'm like, I had no idea it was there. I'll be honest. I was kind of, you know, then I see this and I go, oh my God, it's a movie from like a movie. I'm like, oh no, all those movies were right. So, I'm just going to show this, and then I'll bring some perspective on this story. So here it is. You can see it there, and you can see in the top left-hand corner, it says December 21st, 2022, 11:59 p.m. What is it? It says here, Sierra Space aimed to blow a space module apart on video and delivered on that promise in space. So there it is. So it was one of those tests, thank God, but it's kind of like what would happen. It says the company has completed its third module test on the journey to certify its module design for eventual spaceflight and to help develop a private space complex to replace the International Space Station. Now, recently, it was kind of in the news, especially with Ukraine and Russia. Russia was like, dude, we're going to totally like can that thing and we're going to crash it. Is kind of the thought of one. And they were on Twitter, this, that, the other. And the other's like, dude, we're going to remove our people from your people because it's technically exactly that, the International Space Station with a bunch of like members from all around the world getting along, right, in space. And they do a lot of experiments there. They do just a lot of things. So I saw this. I said, wait, what? But there it is. There's that the accelerated systematic, they call it creep test. I think they should rename that. It sounds just completely weird. As the company termed the December trial, exceeded NASA's certification requirements. So that's good. So basically, they blew this up in order to test the effectiveness of the module. Sierra Space officials said in a statement, this was this week, these results will propel us in 2023 as we mature the technology via full-scale development and continue toward full NASA certification. Sierra Space's Large Integrated Flexible Environment, or LIFE, that's what they call it as an acronym, will form part of the Orbital Reef Space Station. Why do they call it Orbital Reef? Isn't, like, reef is more ocean. Are they backwards on this, Jess?
I don't know. Unless they're trying to make a giant like space station that looks like a giant reef. I don't know. Maybe.
I can see it doing good in like the ocean. Maybe that's like they didn't want to let that out, but they have these places in the ocean. I can see that. Led by Blue Origin, Orbital Reef represents part of a small set of industry-led space stations that NASA gave early-stage funding to back in December 2021 as part of a plan to replace the aging ISS, or the International Space Station, in the 2030s or so. Yeah, they've been wanting to like can it for. I don't know what they're gonna do. Are they gonna like burn it in the Earth's atmosphere? I think it's too big. I think they should send it off to the sun. Sierra Space has done a trio of explosive tests so far for safety reasons. That's good. NASA certification requires extensive ground testing to assure the design is safe for spaceflight. That makes sense. The December 2022 effort loaded the subscale test module up with air pressure and required the module to maintain pressure for at least 100 hours. The explosion took place after 150 hours, exceeding the requirement by 150%. Well, that's good. At least they know what happens when it explodes. I wouldn't want to be there when it does explode, Jess. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be a fun time. I mean, you'll see a bunch of fun explosions, and then that would be it.
Yeah, that's the vacuum of space that this is why I have a problem with this, Jess. I don't want to go to space anytime soon because I don't think they're ready. I'll be honest. Let's see. Tests were performed in Alabama. Well, that's good to know. At the NASA Marshall Space Flight Center, adjacent to the flame trench of the Saturn 1B test stand, in the same zone where NASA tested rockets for the Apollo Moon program of the 60s and 70s. Oh, that's history right there. That's pretty interesting. The test included Sierra Space, past space suit maker ILC Dover, and NASA officials. In a way, that makes sense. I would do that. Like Jess, if you were in a space suit, you would want that suit so good that like shrapnel would not cut it and then like break the your oxygen level. You know what I mean? Because that we always see people die like that on movies, right?
Right. The problem with the whole space thing is like you have to have that bulky suit. So, one little rip and you're done.
Yeah, you're done. Yeah. Would you go if someone said, "Hey, we're gonna pay you good money and we want you to"? Oh, you know what someone said? This was interesting. I like to pick people's brains. If you were invited to live on a asteroid, would you?
Safely?
Yeah.
Yes.
You would be that guy.
Why not?
There's nothing good with asteroid. Why would you want to live on an asteroid? Like, that makes no sense to me. And somebody said, "Oh, it's a great idea." I say it's a stupid idea. Why would you want to live on an asteroid? No one's thought it through, Jess.
No, I didn't think it through the same way I didn't think that I could, I don't know.
You want the
Don't-
implant. I
don't-
know it. I know it. I told you, you're going to get the implant, man. You're that guy. Look, here's the thing, people. Okay, let me just bring some perspective, okay? Asteroid is barreling through space, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Doesn't have a trajectory.
No, no, no. We are just floating through space and waiting for a grand adventure.
No, asteroids have trajectory. It just depends on where they're trajectorying to. Okay, so asteroids have trajectory, all right? But here's the problem. There's nothing to protect you when something attacks that asteroid. The problem is other stuff. There's other stuff in the air around. Now, the good thing about the Earth is this. They burn up in the atmosphere, okay? But if you're on an asteroid, you do not want to be on the outside. So, do you kind of go in the asteroid? The answer, you could. You could. But then you go, okay, what if it damages something that, like, you know, you want to get away from that asteroid, right? Perfect example, Armageddon. Okay, well, if you remember Armageddon, when the team go to break up the asteroid so it doesn't hurt Earth, right? That's a perfect example of what happens on an asteroid. Asteroids are very, very rock, okay? There's nothing good about rock. That thankfully burns up in the Earth's atmosphere thanks to gravity and that whole space in between the ground and, like, you know, the outer part. But, yeah, so when that finally figures out a way to crash into a planet, or a planet is like, you know, people have a question about Planet X, which now is a confirmed thing. I remember when they used to say, what was that thing? It was a bunch of YouTube stuff. Like, it was just a thought, like, oh, there's this mystery planet that's so dark, you can only see it at a certain time. And in certain, like, Egyptian culture, they say it's actually there, it's recorded. It's so big, it's a planet that sometimes enters the Earth's atmosphere, like it could be seen. Well, now they actually admit there is a Planet X, right, or Nibiru or something like that. And that completely, which I'm like, did anybody like did you guys like forget, like, this used to be just a conspiracy? Now it's a proven thing that if you look at NASA's website, it says, yeah, there's a planet out there which is very dark, right? Which almost, they're like, oh, the Egyptians were right. All those conspiracy theories and theorists were right about this. Okay, so my question is, at what point does that planet, even though we don't see it, like all the other planets, come into our orbit again, and would it create a problem for the Earth's, like, you know what I mean? Would it create a orbital shift? Does that make sense, Jess?
No, no, I could see like I'm not saying that, you know, Nibiru or this other planet, you know, like, do you remember the movie? What was it? Moonfall.
Yeah.
How the moon's a giant Dyson sphere, something like that. It's just a giant planet that's there for a specific reason. Don't know what, but you know.
That makes sense. Well, here's my question. If it came, I would say, yo, team of, you know, Mars people, right? Go get on that planet and go check it out, right? Because I don't know how, like, far it's going to go away, but while it's, like, in, like, the vicinity, go check it out. You know, I would be a little scared of it being that close where it can be seen. But again, there you go. All right, so that's my story. I'm sticking to it. Anyway, it's a thing. People, when you research stuff, you're like, they released that information about Planet X. It's a very dark planet, actually, and it's so dark, you can't really see, in a way, in space unless you have certain, like, technology to be able to see it, like, you know what I mean? But some have theorized it would come into the Earth's atmosphere and maybe crash into us one day. But I think, you know, the planets have been orbiting for so long, it hasn't happened anytime soon. And I you know, but back to asteroid. Don't live on an asteroid, Jess, because here's the problem with rocks going all throughout space. You never know when one's going to breach your suit, and when it breaches your suit, it's bye-bye. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. You don't want to be. Why would anybody want? You're not protected by their, like, atmosphere. Even Mars would be a better choice than an asteroid. These people are not thinking. Anyway, that's my story. I'm sticking to it. We'll be back with more right after this. So Gene says, "Good morning, people. I'm on a lunch break. What's toxic? People's minds. That's what's toxic." We'll be back with more right after this. Stay tuned.
Take KMET 1490 AM with you everywhere you go by downloading our free smartphone apps found on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. You can also go to the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store on your phone to download the free app. Now you can listen live or play any of your favorite programmers' podcasts using your smartphone. Go to KMET1490am.com and download your free phone app today.
Tired of waiting in line for overpriced coffees and packaged rolls? Make a change and stop for coffee or espresso and a fresh homemade apple fritter or ham and cheese croissant at Donut Delight on Highland Springs Road in Banning, just off the I-10 freeway. Donut Delight is a family-owned business with a friendly staff who has served the Pass area for 22 years. Donut Delight on the corner of Highland Springs Road and Ramsey Street, just off the I-10 freeway. Donut Delight opens daily at 4:30 a.m.
Standard time is here. That means shorter days and cooler nights that make you want to stay inside. Don't get caught in the cold. Franklin Mechanical Systems can do a preventative maintenance check on your heating unit. Get it working right. For cleaning, repair, or a new installation, call them for a free estimate. Franklin Mechanical Systems for all your residential and commercial heating and air conditioning needs. Call their Beaumont office at 951-845-1000. That's 951-845-1000 and stay warm today.
Are you paying rent because you think you cannot afford to live in your dream home? Are you renting because you don't believe that you have the down payment funds to purchase your own home? The Siegel lending team at ronismylender.com has up to $25,000 to help qualified people purchase their own home at amazing interest rates. Contact the Siegel lending team today at ronismylender.com. Again, ronismylender.com, license under NMLS 217037. ronismylender.com.
Join Yvette Walker every Tuesday at 4 o'clock p.m. on KMET ABC News Radio, 1490 AM, FM 98.1, and Internet KMET TV for the Southern California Business Report. The show is dedicated to highlighting successful businesses and the individuals behind them. Yvette interviews the incredible people managing these enterprises that range from awe-inspiring sole proprietors to world-renowned organizations. The Southern California Business Report, Tuesdays at 4 o'clock p.m.
Hello, listeners. This is Christopher from The Christopher Show. Hey, if you missed one of our shows here at KMET, don't worry about it. You can go to our webpage, and that's KMET1490am.com. Go to the homepage, click on the SoundCloud tab, and hear any show anytime you want.
Welcome back. It is the morning show here on ABC. Okay, I'm not going to lie. I did not expect this to be a space talk, all right? I know Jeannie appreciates space talk, Jess, and this is kind of, in a way, a little exciting. I'm not going to lie, because I'm like, are you kidding me? Okay, so I'm going to show this picture. I'm not going to be able to show you, so if you go on the feed, you'll be able to see it. This picture is something that is of... I don't think people are ready for this, to be honest. But in a way, this is something that's going to be so big. One day they're going to need people to be like, can you put like every movie of Star Trek, like, can we get a handle on it? I'd be like, Jess, get a handle on it. This is a picture. Granted, you see the little middle, it's very like just a simple design, and you got the RR for Rolls-Royce. Here's the headline. Rolls-Royce unveils the early stage design for space nuclear reactor. Jess, this is very exciting. I know reactors in that, but, people are all right with, Ukraine and them bombing reactors that are nuclear. But this is very exciting. Do you know why, Jess?
I can make a few guesses, but wait. You said Rolls-Royce, like the car people?
Yeah!
Please tell me they're not making a nuclear-powered car.
Dude, it's space.
Are they making a vehicle?
Dude, it's space. It's a reactor for space.
For now, but can you attach it to a car to make it go
Jess,
faster?
you don't want to attach it to a car. It's for space. It's for travel. Jess, okay, let me explain it. I know, you're stuck with Rolls-Royce and car. I didn't see that coming. Okay, Rolls-Royce is in, like, look, they make things happen, okay? Now, granted, they make very, like, beautiful things, but they're going to go next level, and they're going to make a lot of money because space is where it's at, all right? Musk, sorry, I was going to go Tesla, I don't know why. Elon Musk, unless he's tough and Musk, I don't know. But Elon Musk set the bar so high with, hey, we're going to go to Mars. They have, there's a program that's probably going to start because they're going to have this, speaking of car, like one of these flying drones where people are going to fly it and they're going to be able to, like, you know how the rover kind of does what it does? They're going to be able to fly this drone over the Mars surface and, you know, do whatever they want to do. But they're going to have someone pilot that from Earth. Isn't that cool, Jess?
No, that's actually really cool.
So
yeah, I'm still stuck on the Royce thing, but yeah, if they can do it, make one.
Yeah, so this, okay, back to Rolls-Royce, is a thing for the space whatever to go forward in space. Okay, so it creates a bunch of stuff to happen. I'm going to read it here, okay? And I think you'll understand it. Think of this warp drive, okay? It's not as quick as warp drive, but it's going to get us there. That's why I say this is really big information. Okay, it is you know how rockets are the way to get to, like, the moon and back? This is next level stuff. This is a whole other thing. And this is more safe than what, remember when you were like, oh no, we want, like heat in space. No, you don't. You don't want heat in space because it creates a problem. It's called fire. You don't ever want fire around a lot of oxygen. You just don't want that. So this is a prototype, right? But that means they're pretty much done. Nuclear, let's put it this way. I'm just going to read it. A new image shows a possible version of future space propulsion, but it's already here, all right? The fact that they're showing this to the public means it's already here. They're ready to go. Nuclear fission systems, which harness the energy released in the splitting of atoms, could be used to power astronaut bases on the moon or Mars, or they could help shorten the travel time to the planet, which takes 6 to 9 months to reach with current generation propulsion systems. That's current. Rolls-Royce could be part of the ambitious spaceflight future. Now, the thing is, they already are. Okay, this is called, the public is now aware that it's a thing. This is why I say we're so slow in the information we get, just that we're like, wait, what? The company released the stage design of the micronuclear reactor Friday. This was last Friday, in the wake of a 2021 agreement with the UK Space Agency, United Kingdom Space Agency, to study future nuclear power options in space exploration. Each uranium particle is encapsulated in oh, you know what? This is good because uranium has been, you know what? There was like a little pellet that was like released over in Australia. Did you see that, Jess?
I was actually going to talk about that. I'd be like, first off, yes, I did hear about that. It was
a huge thing because they're like, dude, it's like a needle in a haystack. I'm like, it's not hard. Just put like your stuff that determined radioactivity and you'll be able to find it. Did they find it, Jess?
They did find it, but the funny part about it was the people that lost it, it took them a week to admit that they lost it.
This is stupid. Oh my God. Did they transport it? Did they they said it was any little piece is bad radioactivity. Okay, you could die from that. You never want to get poisoned by radioactivity stuff. But let me go back to this. This is why it's exciting. Usually I go, oh no, that's not good. That's not good. That's not good. This is the first time I can say this is great for people of Earth. Okay, we're ready. I don't know that the numbers are ready, but I'm pretty sure within a certain amount of time they'll be ready for space. Here it is. Rolls-Royce, go follow them on Twitter, man. This is awesome. Tweeted, this is history in the making, okay? I don't think people understand how big this is. It says each uranium particle is encapsulated in multiple protective layers that act as a containment system, allowing it to withstand extreme conditions. Nuclear systems have long flown on robotic space missions, for example. So they use these things. They just didn't tell people it was nuclear. For example, radioisotope thermoelectric generators provide electricity for many probes, including NASA's Voyager 1, Voyager 2 spacecraft. Who knew? Which are currently exploring interstellar space. So they're saying, look, it's safe, okay? Big NASA Mars rovers like Perseverance and Curiosity, oh my God, Jess, this is why they're releasing everything about space. They're ready to go, further. Jess, they're okay, this is very exciting, okay? Let me explain this. Musk kind of talked about, how fast we can go based on certain technology that's out there. Because Rolls-Royce is doing this, they're going to get a contract so big, they're in it for a long time. They may even kind of abandon the car system, or they may do something with it. I don't know. But they're gonna go. Let me put it this way: you could cut the time if you even change. Oh wow, this is why it's gonna go big, Jess. Okay. Every engineer should be so excited by this because I know why now. Okay, all right. Man, there's so from okay, Jess. I don't know how to make sense of it. Can you help me? Like, just say, how can you make sense real quick so we can all make sense?
Of what this car. Okay, first off, I was not aware that they were dipping into nuclear technology at all. So this is like mind blowing to me, and the fact that they're also making mini nuclear power plants.
Yeah, but
So
wait a minute. Just ask me. Say, can you make sense to me?
yeah, make it make sense.
Make it make sense? No, just say,
Yeah.
can you make sense to me?
Can you make sense to me?
I can. Here it is. Okay, here it is. Everyone. When you think of nuclear, you think of blah, right? And yet, I've said this so many times. I say Ukraine, Russia. There's nothing good with nuclear. But the way they're doing it with this design, I'm going to flash it back on right here, okay? This is wonderful for every single person who ever has looked at anything like Star Trek or anything, because this makes space flight possible. Now, this is the first of many. Rolls-Royce is ahead. There's probably like multiple others. Honda's probably in on it. Toyota's in on it. And other ones are in on it. They're going to patent this so much. They are the beginning of what Star Trek before they went warp speed. Okay, this gets us there. All right, this is a technology that helps us get there. We can go from here to like Planet X and beyond within probably a third of the time it would take a normal rocket to get us there, Jess. You could cut down time in like even more than that if you go next level with this by getting a bunch of engineers to say, okay, how do we make it like the fastest vehicle ever? Forget slow and bulky, because that's what Rolls-Royce is doing right now. They're doing slow and bulky, which is good. It's called, let's test this, okay? Let's make sure it's stable. Let's make sure it can withstand all of the heat that it's going to generate, because it's going to generate a certain amount of heat. It's bound to happen. You just don't want to generate like they do of the sun, right? But this is different. This is very this isn't going to go anywhere. If anything, they're going to put this on a lot of devices. But the point is this: you can go from here to, well, where would you want to go in space, Jess?
If I could just like travel around and stuff.
Yeah.
I would like to see the rings of Saturn.
Okay, but let's say you want to go let's say you want to go to Saturn and back. Would you have to like you know how they make them kind of orbital and stuff to be able to so you don't lose like your body's gravity and all. Plus you have to prepare for the orbit of Saturn. There's a bunch of things that they got to figure out. But I think that's why they're exploding things and they're showing all this stuff, because in a way this helps people get their head around the fact that they need people to go to space. So here's my point. And I said this to someone that said, would you go to space? I said, not anytime soon. Be like within so many years I would, once they get through all the kinks. But this is the beginning of, okay, you remember that show with Star Trek where they discover the guy and then like Vulcans go, oh my God, Earth is ready. We're ready to go to space. I don't know if we're responsible with it. I think we need to be guided. We're not responsible. We're horribly irresponsible. But my point is this. You can. Everybody's thought, oh, it's going to take a long time to get from here to there. It is. The way the rockets are now. This, though, creates, the amazing for years to come. This is the beginning stages of something that is going to come within years, where within, 1,000 years from now, the kids of, your future kids, right? If you had kids, Jess, their kids would have kids, and their kids would have kids, and their kids would have kids, right?
Yes.
Okay, hopefully. So those kids would be like, well, that would be in a museum. This little thing would be in a museum, kind of like the automobile of yesteryear, right? Yesteryear, when it first came out, people didn't know how it would revolutionize travel for everyone, all right? Now, the great thing about this is it's compact, it's simple, and the design is sleek. It doesn't look like much. It doesn't. But when you take all the this, that, and the other, it does this, you go, okay, this is going to have a great way to travel through space. So, how do I say it? It's gonna make okay, you know how they say they want to do to the moon and back? with certain people, and they did that for a while. Okay, that was Space X, I think, right? Space flight, they call it, whatever. And so they're like, oh, we want to do a tourism thing. This would make that possible, but they make money when they mine other planets. When you mine another planet, as long as it's safe to do so, you mine it, and you don't mine the Earth anymore. You mine the planets around it. Does that make sense?
Yes.
When you mine other planets with certain minerals that we don't even have here, you'll find gold, you'll find silver, you'll find very precious metals that will actually help Earth eventually, because you can make these things into things. So you don't have to mine the Earth anymore, okay? Some planets that would be very easy to do that with are actually Mars. They're already going to do. That's obvious. They're going to get a lot of minerals from the Earth's surface. That's why they're investigating it. But you think of like Jupiter, okay? You think of, you just got to be careful of that whole storm thing. But you know, Venus, they say, but I say, why not? But you could go back and forth with this, Jess. This is the future happening as we speak. This is going to create so many good things for us that A, the Earth can be rich, and B, there's going to be so many people going to space because they're going to sign up for it because it's so quick. You're going to be going and back within a certain amount of time. Like, you might take a year on a contract, Jess, and you go to, like, maybe, not the moon. They wouldn't want to do the moon anymore. They want to go to, like, maybe Saturn. Okay, you said Saturn for a reason, I think. People have a certain thing about Saturn. But you got to go through the asteroid belt. That's why I say don't live on an asteroid. That's dumb. But you go to Saturn, and you can mine Saturn for a lot of minerals. Saturn has so many minerals. That's why it's like very compact and everything. But you get all the stuff, and then you bring it back to the Earth, and then you make something of it, right? And there's a lot of things that, I mean, it's going to be amazing, Jess. It's going to be so amazing. But that's going to happen really quick and fast, probably in 100 years. So you go, well, what good is this? This is history in the making. So this is called what we do with space eventually. That's why it's so exciting, Jess. So this is like so cool.
Right. I mean, I can't wait to run into some aliens and see what's going to happen next. Hopefully they don't eat our brains, but let's find out.
Well,
right?
I think responsible aliens, if they are responsible, will guide us through this, and they might take it next level. But if they don't, we're already there. We're out of space. Oh my God! Now you got to figure out how to go beyond. Anyway, the telescope, the Webb telescope's it's gonna show us. Yeah, and this is the thing. They're gonna plot a course for a Earth, guaranteed, with a crew. Don't be the crew, because they always go missing. All right, Jess, bye. We're gonna say bye to everyone. Bye, everyone. All right, I ran out of time. I could not explain the way like I wanted to, so I'm going to read this, and hopefully you guys will make sense of this. I know Jeannie's very smart. She knows this stuff. She says USA is 10 years behind in this technology pool. Yeah, because people are it's just there's nothing to protect us or shooting out of the sky. Yeah, it's true. Yeah, we have a lot of things on this Earth that were in a way it's here to protect us, but in certain planets we don't have protection, so you got to be very careful with that. But here it is, okay. Yeah, here it is. Perfect example. It says, technology has fueled a joke in the movie The Martian. If you saw that, it was with Matt Damon, okay? In the film, astronaut Mark Watney, played by Matt Damon, in search of warmth in an unheated rover, industrialist digging up a reactor buried in I think it was the ground, for safety reasons, said his Red Planet training manual had a section about surface operations labeled, "Don't dig up the big box of plutonium," Mark. Now, think about Back to the Future, okay? If you think that and you think, why is uranium a thing? You go, oh, it's usually made for bomb, okay? This, though, allows for the material to be able to make safe, I'll say ish, there's nothing safe about anything. This is kind of like the movies that they always show in certain like movies, like if you saw Star Trek with Chris Pine, you understand what I'm talking about. Sometimes reactors can go bad, okay? But this, kind of like a submarine, can make it go quick and fast because of the way it handles. You see the top and the middle and the bottom? Those little gears move so quick that creates propulsion. Now in space, you don't need a lot of propulsion. They have not had propulsion other than little, right, where they send out a little like oxygen out to basically like correct a path. This is why this is so good. Propulsion has not really been a thing of any space flight for some time. This is why it's so good. Those little like to correct the orbit of like the space station. You still need that. Don't get me wrong. But this allows you to be able to float through space so much more quick. This is why it's so important. This is and the great thing about uranium is it's almost ever ending, meaning it doesn't end. It just creates, and there you go. Now, just like anything nuclear, you got to have a meltdown, so you got to be careful of that. Then you got to be safe of outer hole stuff and asteroids and things that come crashing into like, you know what I mean? But this is the future, but we're seeing it as it's happening. Now, the thing I didn't get to say on the show is I'm part of and it doesn't even sound related, but it is. I'm part of, shout out to Ricardo Rodriguez. You know him as and I'm going to see him next week. I can't wait to talk about this because it goes from vehicles, but vehicles are in a way the next thing to space flight. It's kind of why Musk put that little like spacesuit and then that vehicle and then like put a camera there and like see and they were sending it off into outer space. In a way, this is the beginning of space flight, but it's now understood this is how we do it, and we do it as safe as possible. There's no 100% whenever you do nuclear. I'm going to say that. Okay, so you got to be careful of that. But it does it in a way where it says, okay, this design, although it looks very simple and very sleek, it is the way of the future for travel through space. So those that are excited about space, it's here. Those that are not excited about space, that's fine. I say don't leave the Earth. The Earth is very... But here's where it goes next level. Okay, in about so many years, all right, people are going to not have to like... And they still will. I know there'll be certain places that still do. But they don't need to mine the Earth anymore. They just go to outer space. They get enough there, and they do it here. Okay, there's more than enough. When people think of materials and they think of gold, it's in short supply. Okay, there's only so much to go around, right? You got to mine it, right? But if you have it on other planets, which I guarantee it's there, you just get that, you bring it back, and you're fine. You're good to go. Okay, this allows for you not only to be rich, which is why some people will want to go to other planet, but I say you got to get like everything ready to go. That's why I say we're not there yet when it comes to travel. I love this because this is like in the making. When you think of like certain engineers that like design certain vehicles way back when, you'd want to be that guy to discover the guy that made it efficient, and you'd be like, oh my god, you're going to be forever known as that guy. It's just one of those things where it's like you see history in the making, you go beyond years of time, you're going to see this person written in history books as the guy, right? Ford is known for kind of making like, but he's not the one who made the engine in essence. He made it possible, for like a bunch of vehicles to be made all in one place very safely and very good, I think in 1910 or something like that. But he had been at it for quite some time. But other ones made engines faster. That's why I say engineers should be really excited, because the design, even at its infancy, is this, but how do you... It's just going to be amazing. That's all I can say. And there's certain minerals that are in certain asteroids, but if you see them on certain planets, they're so hard that you can make the outer hull so good and so sleek that it doesn't dent when you manufacture it like on Earth. That's what I'm saying. There's certain minerals that are much stronger than the Earth's minerals. Okay, our Earth's minerals are pretty brittle. But like if you take certain planets like, even Uranus, right? Uranus has very hard metal there. It withstands a lot. You just look at the surface, you go, wow. So if you can get that in powder form, you always powder it down. And they always powder these things. Never bring back rock. That's dumb. Always powder it, okay? Have a way of pulverizing it. And then that makes it easy for you to like, do that here on Earth when you bring it back. So there's going to be a lot of like, well, they got to be careful of that because you could have a lot of heat like up in the Earth's atmosphere. Well, they'll have a way for that, I'm pretty sure. But the point is this. You have the way of making this next level if you create, I don't know how many of these they have, but you could do a multitude of them. So now uranium doesn't have to be the thing that destroys people. It's the thing that saves people. They really have not used it to like really help people other than like those rods. But even those really hurt people on Earth. That's why I don't like them, because they get out of like whack. But this is kind of a design that's much better than the rods. Technically. But I wouldn't recommend it. I would recommend this for spaceflight. But again, you don't want heat on, like, but okay, back to engine. Okay, when you think of everything Star Trek, this is that. Okay, when they say, Scotty, this is that, he's like, I can't, it's going to explode. He's like, get it under control, okay, and then finally they save the day, right? There's going to be a lot of accidents happening with this, but the point is this, okay? There's a lot of accidents with Tesla, right? But for years to come, Tesla will be a thing when Elon, you know what I mean? Like, it's going to be a thing, no matter what, and people are going to be like, wow, remember that when, we're getting out of in a way, it's still going to be here. You got oil, right? Oh, oil, oh my God. Okay, so if you put certain things on certain planets, you could mine for oil, I think. I could be wrong because I don't know if they were like, wouldn't it be amazing if you like went to a surface and you went below the surface, or they sent that little to see through and you'd see like their fossils underneath that core. Why don't they do that? They should do that with at least Mars. I think it'd be interesting. Like, oh, look at that. Beyond that, at some time there were animals on that surface because at some point they got heated up, right? I mean, obviously, because they say it had water, so therefore, just do that. Look for the fossil like Jurassic Park. I know, it's so simple. So anyway, the point is this, okay? The point is this. The reason I'm excited is this is the future of now, meaning sometimes you don't see it and you know what it means, but then you go, oh, that's what it means. This is what makes flight possible in space. You could go, I don't know what the calculations are right now, but you could go take a normal rocket system, okay? Gets off Earth, right? It gets into space, right? And then they have those ones break apart, and then it has more rockets. Sometimes they have rockets in certain areas, so it docks with other stuff to get it a little further, right? And then they use trajectory, and they use all that. Every movie you've ever seen on space, that's what it is, okay? Think the movie Gravity, think the movie Martian, think the Mission to Mars, all those movies, put them all together, and then add this, and you got, oh my God, the next thing that goes, like Enterprise. This is a way, we're not there yet. We don't have Enterprise, obviously, but this is where you get there. This is how you do it. Okay? You don't get it, huh? Okay, think like, okay, you know how there are certain, like, military things that go super, like, okay, the bomber, right? Bomber is really kind of one of those things that go, please don't talk about it. I say, okay, fine. Anything that is super fast, okay? You can go, I think, Mach 8, Mach 9, Mach 10, Mach 11, right? I think. If you saw the movie Top Gun, you'll understand what I'm talking about. He pushes, like, the limit, right? Okay, just go watch Top Gun 2. Go check it out. It's awesome, okay? It talks about that. You go beyond a certain thing, you could crash and burn, whatever, he doesn't care. He's that guy, right? Tom, shout out to the whole team, to all that. It's really awesome. But if you apply that to space, we're very slow in the way that when we're in space, we're very slow. This makes, like, not that fast. Okay, think of a normal, remember the shuttle that they kind of canned and they put it over there in LA? Okay, that one. Think of the normal shuttle. That is like equivalent, I shouldn't do that, a lot of manufacturers listen to us. Okay, that's the point. With Ricardo Rodriguez and the judging panel I'm with, we give out, and shout out to Ricardo for this was his idea, 100%. He gives out a little, like, money, not a lot because we don't have big sponsors for it, but he gives out a certain amount of money to smart engineers. Now, not this past year, but the year before, he gave a very smart person, because he's able to develop things and he's a designer of, like, a lot of stuff, but he's more like an engineer. His mind works like an engineer. So I said, let's do this, let's do that, let's do this. What happens when you do this to design? He goes, wow, like, we could do this and that. I go, yes! So this guy was very exciting. I gotta get on the phone with him. Anyway, so this is where, like, design is so important, because, and you could do this with so many ways with computer and certain models. Like, you could do it in actually your home. So this is where Rolls-Royce is ahead of it. Whoever decides this is going to be like, shoot. Because I guarantee they're not the one to profit. They're the one that came up with the design, but they're not the one to profit. Anyway, there's going to be so many copycats. So the point is this. You take this design and you apply it to other things. When you understand how the heat, like, and how it turns and how it makes everything happen, you take this design, you make it like multiple. Then you have a way to have, like, not just one engine, but multiple engines. Now, you cut down your time of travel when you're in space. You got to get off. That's where Musk is ahead. He uses the rocket to get into space. But then you put this on, right? And you put it on for however long, and you're good to go. And then it creates electricity for the ship. You as long as you do that, you're fine. Then it'll always have somewhere to go. If you have no way of the like energy to go, like you can't stop it from going anywhere. So you continuously generate electricity this way, but you put it in the very, very middle of the shuttle or whatever space thing you're doing. That way, if there's like a breach of the outer hull because the asteroid, hits it, or there's a bunch of shrapnel that hits it or whatever, there's so much stuff that could happen in space. Anyway, the point is this. You put it in the very middle, right? And then you're fine because now the rest is good to go. But you put like a bunch of them, and then you have like kind of like submarine, but not, because submarines are really bad design. That's why they always go like belly up. But the point is this: spaceship, you put it in the middle, right? Let's say this is the ship, and let's say you do just, let's not do spherical. Let's just do like a normal, like think Enterprise, okay? You put it in the very middle, and the reason you put it in the very middle is so that you have it protected by everyone, right? Okay, so because you don't want that to go like, because that'll explode everything. That's why you keep it in the middle. Now, when it goes fast, it goes like faster than Mach anything, okay? It goes like, calculations, maybe 300 Mach to 400 Mach with like multiple of this, okay? You do like 8 engines of this, you go fast. We only need 1. Okay, awesome. Slow down. You get it? You don't get it? Oh my God, this is awesome. Okay. You know that person that's always in the front that goes, engage. Like that? There you go. It's awesome. Nobody gets it. Oh my God, this is so amazing. Okay. Space flight is going to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. It's going to be a thing within at least 100 years. I know you're like, 100 years, I'm not going to be alive. Kids of this generation are going to be so excited because they're going to be like, oh my God, I'm going to be an astronaut. Because you're going to be able to go to space and be back in like days. If that's the plan. You go, why would I do that? I don't know, but think, dream, do all that because we're here. All those movies are the when did Trek come out? The 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s? Yeah, all of that is happening now. That's where we're at. It's just like mind-boggling because to you and I, we go, but that's just fiction. It's not. That's true now. It's not fiction anymore. This is true. Oh my God, this is amazing. So that design is so amazing because it's going to make space flight possible, and Rolls-Royce is among the leaders that will do it right. Rolls-Royce is always about design, about prestige, and about excellence. And the reason they're that is because they know how to make things happen. Granted, they're always expensive, obviously, but trust me, you want to drive a Rolls Royce, okay? They are bulky. They are good to go because if you got in a car accident, you'd be safe. They're just so expensive. But again, when you think of space, how do you pay for it? You don't even have to pay for it. That's called planet mining. So you mine the planet where you're going, you let that pay for it. It's easy. You don't have to mine the ocean floor anymore. You don't have to mine the earth to death. You just mine the planets that are not inhabited anymore. At what point will they be inhabited is a good question. I say probably within, I could see Jess living on a planet at some point. I'm not gonna lie, he's that guy. But I say don't live on a planet. That's dumb. Always go and come back, but have a safe way to do it. This is probably among the safest ways to do it, to make uranium in a way, something that kind of bridges the gap of everyone saying, let's not destroy everyone. Let's go to space and let's help. Man, we are so dumb. We are so irresponsible. But the point is this. Yeah, we're so irresponsible. If we were responsible, this would be easy, but we're still not responsible. Okay, so it's the problem with people control and... All right, but let's just go with money. All right, money is a thing that drives people, right? Okay, the first few main... It's always companies, because companies have this type of money. To be in outer space... we'll probably figure out a way to kind of real estate that. Does that make sense? Okay, we're here. We help you get there. Space stations are going to be a thing. Yeah, little stop plants. That they need to do multitude of those. You could get from here to Mars with several space stations ready to go that are just you just have to have them in a way. That's why you need NASA so much, and you need the asteroid program that they have. That way you can figure out every single... They need a better design. That Webb telescope, they need to combine with several other telescopes. That way, they have to do it with infrared and other things that you could see any type of asteroid coming. That way you could have a report, kind of like the weather system here on Earth. They need a weather system of space. That's what they need. So you do that, you'll be good to go. Because there's a lot of rocks and storms in space that happen, especially because things go nuclear like the sun, and then that creates energies of bursts that go out beyond. But back to this, okay? This is exciting because in the years to come, we're going to have, I know you're thinking years, I want to do this in days. Okay, in the days to come, in the years to come, there are going to be so many smart people that are engineers, scientists, and other that if you think another planet, you're good to go. All right, you don't have to think about life on another planet. You just think planet, mineral, that's how we pay for everything, no matter what. You just have to find where the gold's at. That's it. It's the gold rush of the next century. Okay, for the next 100 to some 100 years, gold among copper and other minerals, like minerals that we don't even understand, will be so strong. Those will be like worth so much because they're going to say, how much can you get us? And then that has a certain equivalency of certain like stuff that you go, oh, that makes sense. And that creates outer holes so you could go beyond the solar system and way beyond. So that black hole in the middle of our galaxy could not be a thing. Yeah, there you go. So like years and years and years and years, if you think at least 1,000 years, maybe 800. Yeah, 800 to 1,200 years. If you think 800 to 1,200 years, the future is right here. And this little device, which was made by Rolls-Royce. That's why it's so exciting. People don't even understand. Oh my God. I know, because you're like, I'm not going to live, whatever. The point is this, okay? This is the future of tomorrow. It's happening right now. We are living in one of the most exciting times because whenever could we ever go all together? Now, if you wanted to take like a crew, kind of like you do with, and I get it, planes, man, they need to be safe. But the point is this. They have to have a way of degradation because it does actually degrade over time. So you got to figure that out. Or figure out when to replenish it. You don't get it, huh? Every single everything when it comes to space is this. That's why it's so amazing. I'm going to just like, there it is, okay? That's why it's amazing. Jeannie knows what I'm talking about. See, she knows. She says, mind-blowing. It's hard to explain to some that don't know of this industry or science. Exactly. That's why this is so exciting. Okay, we're ahead. I didn't even know we're ahead. We're ahead. So, it would be, let me give you an example. This is very, for an average person, okay, around the world. Let's say you're the age 8 right now, okay? Maybe even 3, 4, 5, 6, okay. The kid, maybe your grandkid, your nephew, your niece, whatever, they should be excited by this because within the time that it takes for them to get to like around 20 or 30, we'll say even 8, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. By the time they're 15, okay, there will probably be very common, like it's expensive at first, but when they need people to go and work there, that's why I say don't sign up. Okay, wait for that. Because there'll be people that sign up for this, okay? Oh, man, the U.S., boy, they're going to do... Space Force is such stupid. Because all military, dumb. Nah, they squash it, whatever. Again, we're not responsible. But the point is this. It can be responsible if the little 3 to 4-year-old understands space flight is possible to and back in, like... Okay, think of a cruise, okay? Your kids probably don't think of cruise, but think of a cruise. Think of the Diz cruise, okay? The Disney cruise. Oh, Diz should get in on this action. Okay, Diz would be amazing with this, okay? 100%. Because Diz would be like Galactic Space Cruise, but for real, right? This is what happens with space. Oh my God, you gotta go to Florida. Okay, they have this cool like galactic thing that you can actually do. It's awesome and amazing. But anyway, okay. Oh, think the Millennium Falcon. I talked to Jess about this. I said, yo, it's like $70-some to get to like California Adventure. You could do like the Millennium Falcon. It's awesome. But if you go into like that, now it doesn't go as fast as that. The stars will go that fast. That's why you have to like plot your trajectory. And it's never gonna go that fast at any time soon, because like maybe like in years to come with certain like technology, maybe if there were like some type of a life form that knows that they would be able to travel that fast, but they already know the way. So we go, okay, how do we do that? And then you're good to go because they don't crash much, but they still crash. But the point is this. Okay, back to this. This is one of those things that your little 3 or like however old they are can think by the time they're probably 30 or 40, space flight will be so normal. It'll be like, hey, by the way, now all those little like vehicles that they say fly. They have like all those drones, little like things like they say the vehicle that flies. It's like has 1 or 2 people on it. You don't put this in it because it's way like you don't want to do that. Plus it's expensive. No way, Jose. But you can eventually take one of those vehicles and like have it at least hover with this type of technology. That's what people don't understand. This technology makes it possible for certain things to move so quick and fast, not with uranium, but with other stuff that actually are very safe. And the person to do that will be so smart, and they will pay so much. But you can have hover vehicles within the next, probably, with this technology, anywhere from 20 to 30 years. Maybe 8 to 12 years. It just depends who's very responsible, okay? But you take this technology as an engineer and you say, okay, how can we mass produce this, not using uranium or like all that heat, but we apply it to a vehicle that can hover. This makes it possible. That's why it's so exciting. So there you go, all right? But anyway, so your kid of today, all right? Maybe your grandparent, whatever, your father or mother, you're a single person with, a little nephew or a niece. You should be excited by this because when they are older, they're going to say, Ma, Pa, or Aunt, Uncle, or Uncle, Aunt, whatever, Grandpa, Grandma, I am going to help you out, okay? We're going to go to Jupiter today. You ready? No. Because you're going to be that person, right? Don't be that person. Just be like, okay, because it'll be ready to go. You can go to Jupiter and back within days, kind of like a cruise of Disney. Within days. You go, why would I want to do that? It's simple. It's fun, man. It's not. It kind of is. I know the kids are like, I want to go. Okay, so every little kid, whoever wanted to be an astronaut, it will be a thing within a certain amount of time because they have to have people in space. Once they start mining for minerals, they're going to have certain things ready to go. And they do it quick and fast. But you got to get the mineral, which I think Jupiter has as well. But I think Saturn's probably the safest bet. But it's so difficult to get there. If you do a trajectory from Earth to there, eventually you're like, that takes a while. But that's why certain programs that are like, no, we want to go to the moon. The moon is so passé. It's so blah. When you think of this technology will make it possible for everyone to travel through space quick and fast. I don't say it's safe. You got to do hold very strong, okay? But you got to do it oh man, there's so many engineers that could be so excited by this news. Oh my god, don't scratch it. Pass the word, okay? Gee, I know you know people over I just know you know people like that. Stephanie Reed says, the future is going to be like that Disney show of Phil of the Future with all those gadgets they had on the show, like spray food in a can. Yes, this technology is possible for anyone that's ever thought about space to be possible. That's why it's so exciting. Okay, so you take this technology, you apply it to vehicle, and you got it ready to go. You just got to figure out what kind of mineral will heat up that fast. All right, so, and it's not uranium, it's another mineral, but I'm not going to let that out because there's so much money to be made. But anyway, there you go. That's as far as I can do it. So it's exciting for the future, okay? So space flight is a thing. It'll be a common thing for the average person, grandma and grandpa, to go to space and come back within a week. You go, hey, let's take that vacation. And that's where it goes eventually. When this stuff gets to where it's got to go and we're responsible, you do a vacation in space and you're back and you're good on the ground. You're like, oh my God, I appreciate that. But for anyone that's ever wanted to be like hover over Jupiter, you just take a little voyage there and you're back. 100%. There you go. Do you get it? No. You're going to get it in a moment. Let's say they had the technology, let's just say, to be able to live beyond your life, right? Would you want to travel to space, see something, spend a week there, and it be affordable? The answer, yes, of course you would. So there you go. That's where we're at. We're going to be a very rich world, okay, when we figure out minerals are everywhere, no matter what. I think the economy could totally rebound within years if they just go, oh, we want to go mine, Jupiter. Just figure out Mars is dumb. It's called a planet that died for a reason. But if you learn that worst case scenario, at some point, people forget about the Earth because they think about humans and stuff. But at some point, humans started, right? They were dinosaurs, there were other stuff, whatever. Okay, so at some point, way beyond, Mars probably was habitable. That's the theory. That's the theory, right? But it got so close to the sun that eventually it wasn't habitable. Did it ever have water? They say yes. Well, if it did, it's pretty much gone, right? It evaporated because the atmosphere of Mars is just bleh, right? But Jupiter is so rich with so many things. That's why you can see it. And with certain technology that they have beaming into the surface, if they can beam into the core of the Earth, man, we got to deal with that. But anyway, if you could do that with Jupiter, that is one. You just don't want to be in that red eye center. But since it's always stuck there in that certain area, you go to around the other areas, usually top and bottom, and you figure it out there, and then you're good to go. That's how you get in, by the way, top or bottom. No one ever thinks. You either go, I want to go to the middle. You don't want to go to the middle, trust me. There's too many stuff in the way. You go top, bottom, boom, you're good to go. Anyway, that's my story I was sticking to. All right, people, we're out of time. Make it a great day, whatever you do. Remember, life is for living. Live it well. Bye-bye, everyone.